All right, guys, so first thing is first. Erase. Okay, guys, so first things first. First things first. What's up, guys? This is going to be episode number 1 of Power's Kitchen. All right, guys, in this episode, I'm going to talk about how I cook up and prepare my sweet potatoes. Now, I don't really like sweet potatoes all that much, but I found out when I cook them this way, I tend to eat them. They have great flavor. I hate mashed sweet potatoes. I hate baked sweet potatoes. They just all taste like poop to me. So if you guys are in that same boat, I think you might find a great success in using this recipe to be able to get your carbs in post-workout, pre-workout, in for the day that are super easy. It's a great source of carbohydrates, and it's a great source of great energy for the workout. Alright, guys, so throughout my experience with the kitchen, alright, you might get to meet my animals. This is my cat. Her name is Kitty. Alright, she probably will knock the camera over once or twice throughout this episode, so get ready for that. Alright, guys, first thing first, make sure you preheat the oven to 400 degrees before you start this, so that way when you're about ready, the oven's already done and ready for you, alright? What we're going to need, sweet potatoes, 1, 2, 3. All right, I like to prep as much as possible at the start because these tend to take a little bit of time. They last well in the refrigerator for a couple days, and they taste just as good reheated back up, so it's great. I use this lovely spice called cinnamon. All right, it's awesome. We're gonna need olive oil. I think we're fancy because we have it in this little pour thing, right? Makes me look like a chef. And then we also have salt that we got for our wedding registry. Thank you whoever bought this. Love you. So, those are the ingredients you'll need, step by step. What I also like to prepare ahead of time is I take my pan and I put foil on it. That way, I don't have to do any dishes. This is great. All I will have to do dishes with is my lovely knife. Alright, guys, so let's look and see how this is going to go. I'm going to go step by step through it. Like I said, if you have any comments, please ask them below, but this is my best way that I found that I can intake sweet potatoes and not feel like they're disgusting. Alright, guys, so step number 1 is I like to dice up my sweet potatoes so that they're really, really small and they're in cubes. Now, I used to have this awesome crusher that I had, the slicer, grater, whatever, from Williams-Sonoma, where I would just slice up my sweet potatoes and then I put it in there and I just could smash it right into cubes. But for some reason that got lost in our move. So what I'm going to show you is how I cut them up individually, one by one, cut them into cubes, the most efficient way that I find possible. Obviously, this takes a lot longer than if I had that crusher, so if you guys have one, I definitely get it. Otherwise, dedicate, 10 or so minutes to cutting up multiple sweet potatoes to be able to get it like that. So when all is said and done, I have a nice big ass bowl of all these cubed up sweet potatoes. So what I'm going to do now is drizzle in my olive oil, potentially. It's too fancy for me, I don't even know how to work it. So we want to get it so that every single little piece of sweet potatoes is coated with olive oil. I find that I tend to like my sweet potatoes crunchier, so they're hard on the outside and soft on the inside. So the a little bit of more olive oil I have, the better it tastes for me because it gets nice and crispy in the oven. Basically, I'm gonna get all these sweet potatoes, get them nice and drizzled so that I feel like I know all this scrumptiousness is gonna happen in these sweet potatoes. Alright, so this will probably last me, all these sweet potatoes, quite a couple days. So I always, like I said, tend to make a lot more than needed because it's a pain in the butt to make. Alright, guys, next I'm going to spread it all out onto the pan evenly. I like to have a nice even coat. Try not to get them too bunched up on top of each other so that way they get crispy on that one side, so then halfway through when I'm baking it, probably 15 minutes in, I flip them over with a nice utensil that I have. I'll show you guys that when it happens. But like I said, I like to get them nice and crispy on one side, so the more kind of spread out they can be, better. So thus I had to bust out 2 pans because I had a lot of sweet potatoes. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cinnamon and the salt, and I'm going to generously give them some love. Alright, cinnamon, I don't know why, but it goes well with sweet potatoes. Alright, just nicely over top, do a little puff puff. When I flip them, they tend to get well coated in all the cinnamon that may be scrounged up in one place or not. Then I take my fancy little salt shaker. Okay, Himalayan sea salt. I like pink sea salt. That is definitely the best, but a little bit of sweetness with a little bit of the salt gives it this nice flavor. All right, guys, so I'm gonna pop these things in the oven. We're gonna go 15 minutes in, and then once that timer comes off, I'm gonna flip them over. Try to get as much flipped over as possible so that the other side gets nice and crispy. Pro tip: while the sweet potatoes are cooking, you can cook your meat or cook something else because it's gonna take 30 or so minutes, or you can hit up your dishes. Boom! I only have 3 dishes, but that's how you make your wife happy. You do the dishes that you did to cook with. All right, happy wife, happy life. All right, guys, 15 minutes is up. This is my handy little flipper. So let's see what we got. Ooh, look at that, he looks good. So all I'm gonna do is just flip these as much as I can, spread them back out, and I'm gonna cook them for another 15 minutes and see how they are. All right, I'll get back with you. All right, guys, 15 minutes later, still look like they need a little bit more. So we're gonna let them sit in there and work it. For all those, this song is my jam. They calls me, now I know how far it goes. Get it, puppy. Behind me, now go. Oh, 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 oh. Dance it, Max. Dance it, Max. Ooh, look at how good those look. Oh, hot pan. Hot pan. Why do these things actually never work? Like, you can't hold on to it for more than 10 seconds. Stupid. I think these ones on the top need just a little bit extra loving. There's a lot more on this plate, so they're a little bit more crowded. I'll toss them in for a couple more seconds. Alright, guys, here's the finished product. All that scrumptious, oh, that shit. Yummy, yummy sweet potatoes. All of it just from me. Alright, guys, that was my first episode of Power's Kitchen. If you like what you see, keep tuning in. I'm going to try to get these out at least once a week, showing you guys what I tend to eat and whatnot. It may be different than what most people do because I'm kind of weird, and that's cool. Success, the kitty did not knock the camera over once, so that's a win in my book. But here again is the delicious sweet potatoes. So, hit it up, like, comment, share, get the shit out there. Like I said, we're making this explode.